All right, let's talk about something pretty much all of us have gone through. Getting that very first job. Whether it was in retail, food service, or maybe your first time in an office, there's this idea that these jobs are just temporary. But we're going to dig into that today and find out what's really going on, because there is so much more value there than you might think.
So let me ask you this right off the bat. When you picture a retail job, what do you see? Just folding sweaters? Stocking shelves? A temporary gig with no real future? A lot of people see it that way. But what if that's not the whole story? Not even close.
And this, right here, is the main takeaway we're exploring today. These jobs are not dead ends. Think of them more like launch pads. They are the first crucial stepping stones on a path that can lead to some seriously cool and unexpected careers.
So let's start right there with that very first step. We're calling this section your first stepping stone because that's really what it is. It's the foundation you build everything else on.
I just love this quote because it's so true, right? Nobody just shows up as an expert on day one. Every single person you admire in their field, every CEO, every master technician, they all started somewhere. And chances are it was in a job that looked a lot like a beginner's role. This is your starting line.
Okay, now these might look like just a bunch of resume buzzwords, but let's get real for a second. Communication, that's not just talking, it's learning how to really listen to a customer to figure out what they actually need. Teamwork is trying to organize a chaotic stockroom with 3 other people. Time management is when you've got 5 different things to do before your shift ends and you actually get them done. And problem solving, that's you figuring out what on earth to do when the payment system goes down during a holiday rush. I'm telling you, these are the exact skills that every employer in every industry is looking for.
Okay, so let's flip the script for a minute. We've been talking about what you get out of the job. But what about the other side of the table? What are employers really looking for when they're hiring someone new? This old saying pretty much nails it. Look, any company can teach you how to work a cash register. They can train you on their inventory system. What they can't teach is a good attitude. They can't teach you to be a team player, to be reliable, or to actually be excited to learn something new. And for a lot of employers, that attitude is the single most important thing.
But of course, it's not just about attitude. As you stick with it, you start to add real technical skills to your toolbox. This could be anything from getting really good at a certain kind of software to understanding the basics of bookkeeping. The point is, you bring that fantastic attitude, and a good job will give you the chance to build these super valuable concrete skills right on top of it.
And this is a really important question. I mean, it's not a one-way street, right? You're bringing your great attitude, you're learning new skills, but what should a good employer be bringing to the table for you? What makes a job more than just a paycheck? Which brings us perfectly to our next section, what you should expect from them. This is all about your needs, your rights, and what a truly good work environment is supposed to feel like.
This quote just says it all. The smartest companies get it. Their success starts with their people. When employees feel safe, when they feel respected and supported, they do their best work. It's a total win-win.
So let's start with the absolute bare minimum, the baseline, safety. This is completely non-negotiable. Your employer has a fundamental responsibility to make sure your workplace and the training they give you isn't putting you in harm's way.
And safety isn't just physical, it's also psychological. Your workplace has to be a place of respect, full stop. That means they need to have clear, proactive rules to prevent any kind of harassment and a real system to deal with it if it happens.
And hey, a good workplace gets that life happens outside of work. Flexibility isn't just about making things convenient. It's a sign that your employer actually trusts you and sees you as a whole person, not just a cog in a machine.
And finally, it should just be a decent place to be. A positive atmosphere isn't just some fluffy, nice-to-have thing. It's clear that when people are happy at work, they're more productive and they stick around. It's better for literally everyone. Okay, so you've built up those core skills, and you've found a good place to work. So where do those stepping stones actually go? Let's take a look at what the future can hold. This right here is the journey. On one side, you've got the basics, the day-to-day tools of an entry-level job. But on the other, that's where you can end up, managing the complex digital systems that run the entire business. And believe me, the path from one to the other is a lot shorter than you might think. And we're not just talking in abstracts here. You could move into information systems, becoming the tech wizard who keeps the website and sales platforms running. Or maybe you get into inventory control, which is a super analytical role, where you're basically the strategist deciding how products move around the country.
Yeah, let's zoom in on a role like inventory control for a second. This is not just counting boxes in the back.
This is about using data to predict demand, working with teams to manage a massive supply chain, and making sure everything gets where it needs to go seamlessly. It's a serious career that starts with understanding what people are buying on the sales floor.
So, here's the bottom line. That first job is never just a job. It's your classroom. It's your training ground. It is your launch pad. It is your first stepping stone. So the only real question left is, where are you going to go from here?